Hi, it's Barry. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have lots of info for you. Planner hacks and tips on how to add deco to your luxury planner. And some will be DIY. So before we get started, I want to remind everybody that in February, the giveaway involves Louis Vuitton. I have lots of info for you today, and I'll be reminding you about the February giveaway at the end of the video. So I know a lot of us really like the luxe look in our planners. I want to show you some of the things that are in my planners, and I'm going to be showing you quite a few of my planners and some different ideas and some different things I have, including some deco that's not currently in some of my planners. I'm also going to be talking about using some older things that you may have from previous planner phases. So if you're like me, your planning style has changed over the years. And if you want to see how I've changed over the years, you can scroll down in my Instagram, back around 2018 and all the earlier ones, where you can see my very colorful phases and happy planner and all kinds of other things that I used to use. But some things from my early days of planning are still useful. So I encourage you to have a plastic container or some other area where you save deco. Even in my earlier cloth and paper days, I saved all the tissue paper that things were wrapped in. I don't know if any of you have a collection of this, but I had lots of it. And if you go back to some of my earlier videos, you can even see how I was using it as deco and made it into dashboards, laminated some of these, saved all the circles, etc. This was probably my favorite one. And small pieces of this, especially if laminated, can be used in pockets of planners. So here's a few things that I just pulled out of my stash to talk about. So in earlier years, I was subscribed to some different subscription boxes, and some of them came along with papers, like the double-sided papers. This side never interests me, but this side really did. And then I also, for a while, was getting the box from Kinley's Doodles, and she had these really nice sturdy dividers, and I would get them in the larger size she had available so that I could cut them into my different planners. Sometimes I made them into a dashboard or a divider or whatever, and so I have those. And what I loved about these is they're kind of laminated on both sides, and they were just really, really sturdy. And then I had some from another planner subscription where I had made them into dividers or dashboards with something else over them, these double-sided papers, which I really liked. I saved it even though I'm no longer in this planner size, because I can still cut part of this out or use it as a backing, and I'll show you what I mean by a backing in a minute. Sometimes there was ephemera. Some of the ephemera was really large, but you could have a little bit of it poking out somewhere. Here's one where I had a paper that was a double-sided paper, and I laminated it, and then that makes it a little bit more sturdy. And I use some of these in the front pocket of my Louis Vuitton planner. So you don't see a lot of it, but it's there. It helps the cover stay straight, and there's like a little bit of deco hanging out behind other things, and you can see another piece that I have laminated that I have there. Even though I have other journal cards in here, these serve as the background, and they're also functional since they're sturdy. I also had purchased acetates and vellums, and though I may not want to use the whole thing today, I may have a piece poking out somewhere. And you can buy the papers, acetates, and vellums, a lot of them in 12 by 12 sheets at Michael's. Very inexpensively, you can buy a single sheet at a time. So don't throw away those extra papers if you have some of them, because you never know when you're going to need them. I have let go of a lot of my more colorful ones, and I still have some that I need to destash. My black, white, and gray are pretty well staying with me. Another thing that you can do in terms of deco is change up your discs. One of the only other accent colors that I am using these days, other than black, white, and gray, is my green. Olive green in particular, but also a dark green I enjoy. This happens to be a work notebook that I put together with the clear covers, and I decided to get these green metallic discs. These came from Levenger, and I've been a collector of the Levenger discs for a very, very long time. So other ways to change it up, for example, you could use gold or rose gold. These tortoiseshell used to be my favorite back, years and years and years ago. And the older ones are the best. I have a lot of limited edition one's purple and garnet and another beautiful shade of green. So while using the colored discs can be a way of adding some deco to your planner, it can also help identify, like if you have a number of these notebooks, as I do, where I use the 3/4 inch discs and the clear covers, this one I can pull easily because it's not like all my silver discs. So it's also very functional. Another fun way to add deco is through your pen. You could take a colored pen and change it up regularly. And you can do this very inexpensively. I've talked recently about the Deco green pens, and like here's a set that I got recently, and the ink is the color of the pen. And for those of you that love the olive green, this happens to be a really good one, and you can't seem to buy it on its own. You kind of have to have a set to get it, but the set is not that expensive, and then you still have all the other ones that go along with it. And just adding one of these to your planner and switching it up, sometimes that's all you need. Another Deco pen, which I got recently, I think makes good deco just because it is very unique looking. And you all know I love white pens, and this one has a little surprise if you haven't seen this one before. So when you open the pen, this little heart pops up, and I know that a lot of you really are enjoying the pop of red that was included in the February cloth and paper subscription box. And then when you're done, it tucks away, and you're back to this unique looking pen because it looks like it has nothing at the top of it and very minimal. And when you buy this, they also come with 2 refills, which is really nice and relatively inexpensive. I'll link to a bunch of these things below. And with the green theme, with this work notebook, I enjoy using the Uniball 1P in the mint green. And these are a short pen, so they're also really good for small sizes. And I love the way the clip works on this so that you could clip it right to the cover if you're working with that. It's a really chunky little pen. And if you're not familiar with these pens, what's the most surprising about it is that the refill is the same refill as in the regular size. It's a big refill, and you're not expecting that in such a small, short pen. If you don't have one of these, they also come in other colors, and I suggest that it's a nice addition to your collection. Another tip I have is save and reuse things. I save a lot of the Penspiration boards, the thank you cards from Cloth and Paper. This was part of a receipt from an order I received, and I just cut it out because it can go right in a pocket. I received this at a planner conference a number of years ago, and I'm saving that. I've used it and will probably reuse it. I had a set of calendar cards that I purchased from Rose Shadow Collection last year, but I'm not throwing them out even though the year is over because I can trim and use the images at the top. And doilies are also a good backing. You can cut them, just have a little tiny piece poking out somewhere. Start collecting. You can even use a washi sample in a pocket if you're into washi. Next, I want to talk about clips and page tabs. So these page tabs, and I have an embarrassing number of them, and in black and white, you can get them all custom made, which is what I've done, where I like to mark specific pages. For example, here in my travel on the go, I want to be able to get to this page. I have it with a plane there showing my plane trip, and I can get to it quickly, plus it adds a little bit of deco. And these I get from Type A for Alexa. I've been buying them for years, always seem to need something new, and some I've even trimmed down. There's a ton of different kinds of clips that you can get. You can get some that clearly can go on the top of a page. This one I recently got in Phoenix when I visited the Taliesin West Frank Lloyd Wright location. I love these little dangles that can hang at the bottom. The idea is that you clip them from the bottom of the page and then they have a little dangle hanging off. I think you all know that I love my luxury designer stuff like Louis Vuitton, and I enjoy a lot of different designers. I love having little bits in my planner, and I'm going to show you these in a number of planners. And that is using the enamel pins. So these are magnetic. I use a lot of the cloth and paper magnetic pins in my planners for deco. You can use them functionally also, but I tend to just use them as deco. Some of these enamel pins can also serve functions. For example, I've got these that I got from Rose Shadow Collection, and this one really helps keep these things organized. So I do use a little bit of washi tape on the underside to keep things from slipping all over the place. But even with that, it wasn't working perfectly. But what I could do here is I have this pinned with the magnet underneath this one. So it kind of keeps it all together. And I am going to show you a real favorite hack for using these magnetic pins, but let me show you some more of them first. So of course, cloth and paper. And I love the camellia, the Chanel camellia. So I have multiple varieties of that. So there's another camellia, and then a little white flower, another cloth and paper, etc. So here, this one is holding those things together because they just kept slipping around. And here you can see another one of those page tabs. This one with the shopping bag takes me directly to my purchase tracker because this is in my finance planner. Don't be afraid to use what you love to see in your planner. Hobbies, things you love, so that when you open your planner, you're just so happy to see it and it looks so appealing to you, because that will help you want to plan more also. You know, putting a Chanel card in here. I mean, it's just a matter of what you like. And I really like to layer a lot of things. I can't show you these individual cards because I have them kind of taped in there, but here's another one of those pieces of paper that I showed you about before. Of course, my CP clip also. And this one is definitely a favorite. Here's a couple more that I got from Rose Shadow Collection. Sometimes when you have these, and you know, the cloth and paper ones have this also on the back, and it kind of sticks up a little bit. So sometimes when you put it in the planner, it creates a bump or it's not really smooth. So of course I have a hack for you. Very inexpensive. You can buy these magnets, and I wasn't sure exactly which size I wanted, so I actually bought 2 different sizes, and I'll have them linked below. But they're very flat. Like this one's only 2 millimeters. These are 3 millimeters. The difference when using these is significant. Look at the difference in thickness. So this isn't going to stick up much at all, whereas these button ones do. So I'm looking to replace all my button ones. And these magnets are so strong, it is really hard to even separate them. And if you get the little button ones, or even if you get bigger ones, don't forget that they can really help you functionally. Put them underneath so that they can keep this flat from moving around. Same thing here. I ordered these vellum die cuts also from Rose Shadow Collection, and you could select what color foil you wanted them in. And I have them, you know, some of them here in my planner pockets. And I do switch my planner pockets up quite a bit whenever I'm in the mood. So I was buying a lot of these page tabs and no longer want the bulkiness of all of this around it. These are pretty old, but some of the words work really well in Deco, like in my finance planner. I can't pull it out to show you, but it's the same as this. All you see is the word when I've tucked it underneath. It's just taped to this other card. And don't forget about your clear cards if you've collected them from Cloth and Paper and other places. This Chow one was out a long time ago. Don't be afraid to cut up any of your journal cards so that they work for you. This needed to fit in a smaller planner pocket, so I cut it up. I tend to like to use some of the clear ones over something like this, or this wonderful card I collected from Cloth and Paper a while ago. I happen to think that this minimalism looks really great on top of that, but you wouldn't see the white very well in certain places. You can always put it on some black cardstock or use the back of another Cloth and Paper card. For example, if I have this one and I got 3 of them, I feel comfortable cutting one of them up. Same thing with this white one here. Won't show very well to read on white, but on black it's fine. Really, you can use anything you want for Deco in your planner. This was a backing card that came with one of the magnetic Enamel pins that I got. And this is just a sticker sheet, and I just like this. And it's actually upside down so that you could see this part of it. So experiment, have fun. Another tip that I have is to use vinyls, either on a glass cover, such as this one, or on a sheet of clear acetate in the front of your planner. Those work well, or like marking a section, etc. I tend to collect, so I've got a lot of different ones, some that I've purchased over time. If you haven't used vinyls before, they are super, super easy to use. They come on a sheet like this. And then what you do is you take a credit card and you go back and forth over it to be sure that the vinyl is transferred to the underneath part. When you're done with that, you pull off this backing and then you stick it where it's going to go. And then you use the credit card again to secure it. And then you pull the front cover off. And the nice thing about this, it's not like a sticker where it's cut out. You're only getting those letters. So experiment with those. And the last tip that I have for you today is if you have a planner that does not have a pen loop and you want a pen loop. For example, this was the very first issue of the CP Petite folio, and it did not have a pen loop. The second issue of it did have a pen loop. And of course, the heirloom does come with a pen loop. But what I did is I took a dashboard and I attached one of these. This is what these are like. So basically, there will be sticky side over here, and then you have the pen loop. And something like this has worked for a very long time. I mean, I got this a long while ago, and it's been in multiple planners. It was in a larger planner, and I cut it down to put it into the CP Petite. And then I have a pen with my planner, and it works really well. The giveaway that I'm doing in February lasts the whole month. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the videos, leave a comment, and be sure you're subscribed to my email list. If you haven't subscribed to the email list yet, there's always a link below in the description of my videos and on my Instagram. I don't send out very many emails, so I won't be flooding your inbox. You can enter on all the February videos. And what I am giving away is something that is from Louis Vuitton. No, not a bag or a planner. It's nothing big like that, but it is from Louis Vuitton, and also something Louis Vuitton inspired. So you'll get 2 items. I'm hoping some of the ideas and hacks today will help you in your planning. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time around.